What is up, bros, bears, muscle mommies, and everything in between? As always, this is Patrick, full Primal Power, your mom's favorite powerlifter. Welcome back to another episode where we prep for the 2025 PLU Power Surge in Chicago, Illinois, September 13th, 2025. I'm in the process of making some strawberry sugar-free Jell-O. If you are wondering, Jell-O only has 10 calories. I don't want to say it's a superfood, but experiencing some life stress, work stress, and all that shenanigans. So, prepping some Jell-O. Before we get started, I got a question for you guys. What happy foods do you eat in order to make your tummy feel better when you're feeling so stressed out that you're like, you know what, maybe I do have an ulcer or something? I remember back in the day, when was it? 2017, 2018 era. I had a herniated disc the size of a golf ball in my L5-S1, which made my left leg completely numb. And I went to the hospital. I went into AFib from pain because I was hyperventilating, trying to control my pain reaction. And they immediately scooted me in. They were like, "Oh, we're just gonna give you some cyclobenzenol, some not morphine. One of the opioids that they give people and they end up getting addicted to them. I didn't actually take them because I was too afraid to mess around with that stuff. But they ultimately ended up giving me 800 milligrams of ibuprofen every 6 to 8 hours, I think it was. And that absolutely destroyed my digestive system. And it being 2025, I'm still kind of recovering a bit from that. It basically gave me permanent IBS and exacerbated my IBS. So I got some pelvic floor issues from that. But making up the Jell-O, making sure that easily digestible, low-calorie foods. So I'm thinking ramens, get some electrolytes in you, some saltine crackers, and all that jazz. The water is heating up way too fast, and I'm gonna make this a 10-minute video for you guys. Yogurts. Oh, let me grab my favorite yogurt. I like local New England. I'm from New England. I don't really want to. I've lived in New Hampshire. I've lived in Massachusetts, and Cabot Farm Greek yogurt. The 2% fat, really tasty. You can throw anything in there, fruits, whatever. I made a compote last night, a blueberry compote, which is basically a really fancy term for I made blueberry jelly, and based off a Joshua Weissman video, and where I macerate. No, masticate is chewing. Macerate is where you take the fruit and you throw it, some sugar on it. You let the sugar dissolve the fruit with a little bit of an acid. I used lemon juice, and then you cook that up until it kind of disintegrates into a delicious thing. And the pectin is released by the acid that you put in there. So like a vinegar, or I felt like doing lemon juice because I didn't know where the vinegar was. So lemon juice feels a little bit more edible. But training week this week, it was a little bit of a weird training day the other day. Recording this a couple days late because life is kind of, I need these soft foods because life is stressful right now, and it's kind of hard to keep up with the Joneses or the Kardashian. Is that a new term? Keeping up with the Kardashians instead of keeping up with the Joneses. Is that the new saying? I don't know. But I had an hour and a half to get my stuff done. And I had 2 training days, so I did end up missing 2 training days this week. But this week is a deload week, and I like how I'm 4.5 minutes in before I drop that little bomb on you boys, because nobody likes a deload training week. Or it's where deload weeks are weird because they're technically the most boring weeks that go on, but they're kind of, it's essential in order to make progress. They're the the rocket fuel that allows you to really progress. It's where the recovery happens. And if you get two lifters who do the exact same thing, but one lifter does more for recovery than the other, then that lifter is going to end up making more progress. And it's really hard to raw lifters and multiply lifters have different deload needs. Multiply lifters max out their CNSs. Multiply is the it's almost like the supercar of powerlifting, where half of the cars blow up at the starting block, whereas raw lifting is more like the NASCAR, where the most of the fatigue is in the muscular fatigue. So I used to deload like a multiply lifter, and I do like that multiply lifter deloading, because you're deloading your CNS more than you're deloading the muscles. So a multiply deload is closer to doing like a 5x1 or 5x3 at 50%. A raw deload, which I've been kind of playing around with a little bit. I'm trying to find the happy medium between what I prefer versus what is optimal. Either way, doing a deload was essential for me this week, because I've had 3 heavy weeks where I'm really pushing the rep PRs. So I had about an hour and a half to get through training. So I loaded up and I did deadlifts first. Deadlifts, I did 4 reds with collars, 2.5 kilo collars. That's 496 pounds. Don't ask me any weights below that. I trained on 45-pound plates for the past 10 years, and I've only just started using kilo plates, so I'm not really used to kilo math, and anything below 500, I don't actually know what it is. So, actually, 496 is the only number I know what it is, if you really think about it. So, I loaded up, I did a 4x1 like that. Wow, that's really all I have to say about that. And after that, I loaded up the squats. And usually when I squat, I stretch out my quad, I stretch out my calves in 3 dimensions, I stretch out my ankles in 4 dimensions, I stretch out my hips. I basically was like, I've already warmed up my entire lower body by doing deadlifts, so I don't really need to stretch it out anymore. Like, things that I'll do to stretch out my hips are things like kettlebell goblet squat holds, but a little bit of modified, where you hold the kettlebell or plate, I use plates, and you hold it out in front of you, extended, and you squat down as low as you can. You hold that for 20 seconds, 20 count, because let's be honest, when we're counting in our heads, it's a lot faster, because 1 Mississippi in your head is different than 1 Mississippi verbal. So I kind of skipped that, because I was like, it's a deload week. And I only loaded up to 496 again, but I used my Kabuki power bar that I won at the Ghost Clash 3 for having the biggest bench. The gym doesn't actually have any other specialty bars. It doesn't have a squat bar, no bench bar, no anything. It's all power bars. It is a USAPL heaven. And it's got a deadlift bar. It's got 1 deadlift bar, and that's the deadlift bar that I use. But other than that, no specialty bars. So I did a 4x1 like that, and really emphasizing the depth, because I'm no longer squatting in heels anymore. And my biggest weakness when I'm squatting barefoot, I do have custom barefoot shoes that I made for myself that I bought $5 grandpa slippers at Walmart back before 2020. So, was it before 2020? I don't remember. Anyways, bought them for $5, and I cut the sole off so that I can feel the floor. And it's basically a loophole in the rule books that allows me to wear those grandpa slippers, because it has to have a covered heel and covered toes, and are not socks. So technically, it's not socks. They're shoes that I tore the heel, the sole off. But I really emphasized trying to get to depth, and got lower and lower. I think on either my first or second set, I actually, with the safeties next to me, or the safeties on the combo rack, I actually hit it with my forearm. And I was like, that's deep enough. And then I looked at the safeties. I'm like, who is squatting this high? I still hit depth, but really emphasizing hitting depth, because that is honestly the biggest thing that I'm nervous about on meet day is not hitting depth, because my last meet, I missed depth on my first squat. American Pro 1, I missed my first 2 on depth, and I never want to get that feeling again. But 4x1, 496 on both deadlifts and squats, and then we got out of there. And my water is now boiling for the Jello. So I will see you guys in the next one. Patrick, Full Promo Power. Check me out on Instagram. Like, comment, subscribe. And may the force be with you, boys. I'll see you soon.